Effects of acid rain. Acid rain is a serious environmental issue. Acid rain can be created by both natural and man-made events, but it has been most commonly linked to the burning of fossil fuels in power plants and automobiles. Acid rain can cause detrimental effects on plants, waterways, animals, buildings, and other structures. Acid rain also affects human health as well as the environment because it contains toxic substances that are harmful to humans with prolonged exposure. In this blog post we will explore what acid rain does to your body and how you can protect yourself from these toxins. Effects of acid rain on human health. Effects of acid rain can be toxic to humans. Acidic chemicals in the form of gases and particles, like acetic acid, vinegar, sulfur dioxide, nitric oxide from smokestacks or diesel exhaust fumes are entering our atmosphere faster than they can be removed by natural processes such as weathering on Earth's surface and chemical reactions with water vapor high up near the tropopause where air temperature is cold enough for clouds to form. These acidic compounds react with other substances in unpredictable ways that may lead to health problems among people who live downwind close enough so these gases make contact and produce acid rain. Scientists have found a link between heart attacks or breathing difficulties for people with asthma and the effects of fine sulfate particles found in acid rains. SO2, NOx react in the atmosphere to form these dangerous particulates which are inhaled by those at risk into their lungs where they can cause severe health problems like death from increased cardiovascular disease risks such as heart attack susceptibility when coupled with pre-existing cardiac conditions. Effects acid rain on economy. Acid rain is produced by power generating plants and other major producers of acid. They discharge their acidic wastes in order to reduce production costs, which enable them to increase profits at the expense of those who suffer from the pollution. Acidic waste can be detrimental but they don't seem too concerned as it will only affect others that pay for this health issue through heart disease or cancer. Acid rain in our environment is a very serious issue, and its negative effects are not limited to just the natural world. The people on this planet are also being affected by these changes, which can lead to disastrous consequences such as famine if food sources aren't replenished quickly enough or at all due to their contamination with toxins and chemicals from acidic precipitation. Some of those who have been fortunate enough to continue living normal lives may experience drastic decreases in luxuries like expensive cars, cell phones that seem more necessary than ever before for work purposes now because they're staying connected while away, business trips, etc. When funds simply get tighter with higher prices for necessities needed everyday foods included. Effects of acid rain on ecosystem. Effects of acid rain is a serious problem for the environment and ecosystem. Acid water can leach aluminum from soil particles, which will flow into streams when it rains heavily or after long periods of dry weather. Aluminum in acid water could lead to an increased risk of cancer in fish-eating animals such as otters and beavers that feed close to the surface, where they are more likely to encounter polluted acidic waters. Effects of acid rain. Effects of acid rain on aquatic life. The acidic rain that falls from the sky every day has been washing away what was once a beautiful and pristine environment. The water is no longer clean, safe to drink or swim in. Fish are dying by the thousands because their gills cannot handle this kind of acidity, while amphibians have seen an alarming decline due to egg sensitivity within these waters as well. It's time we did something about it before all aquatic life disappears forever. Effects of acid rain can be found on many species that causes many animals, such as fish and other aquatic life, to fail at reproducing. Some animals experience low calcium levels in acidic lakes that affect their reproductive physiology. Some females do not release eggs during mating season when the water is too acidic, a problem for both males and females alike. Acidic waters also cause an increase in carbon dioxide which then increases the CO2 level in their blood, decreasing oxygen consumption rates until they are nearly non-existent. Carbon dioxide will even dissolve into bones causing deformity among those who can't escape this environmental hazard any longer than necessary. Effects of acid rain on animals. Acid rain has a profound effect on biodiversity in the world. When one species is negatively impacted, it affects all of those around them who depend on this animal for food sources such as mammals that rely heavily on fish to survive. Effects of acid rain can lead to reduced population numbers and even extinction of some animals, which leads us back into an endless cycle where we lose more with every step towards fixing the problem. There are no easy solutions here, so don't expect anything soon from our government or global agencies like UN Environment Program, UNEP. When the fish in a lake are depleted due to acid rain, humans and bears who eat those fish need to find alternate sources of food. This can lead them into new parts of their environment where they face more dangers from predators or have less access to resources like water. Effects of acid rain on plants. Imagine a world without plants. They provide oxygen for the human body, and are also sources of food, medicine and natural beauty. But what if they're not there because acid rain damages them? Acidic water alters pH levels in soil where your favorite flowers grow, causing vital minerals to be bound or dissolved by acidic molecules. Inhibiting plant growth causes yellowing between leaves, which can become increasingly obvious over time. When acid rain stirs up leaves on the ground, they can be washed away with water. This dirty and acidic residue accumulates and clogs your plant's pores to prevent it from releasing its own life-giving fluids back into itself or cooling off by transpiring through those same openings. When this happens over time, you may notice that parts of your tree turn brown because there is no longer enough moisture for them to function properly anymore. A leaf gets really thirsty when plants sweat in humid temperatures but doesn't have any way to cool down other than opening their pores again. But if dirt and acid has accumulated around these holes, then all the fluid comes right out without ever being able to get inside first. Leaves are designed specifically for photosynthesis. Effects of acid rain. Effects of acid rain on agriculture. Acid rain can change the chemical properties of soil and reduce its nutrients, leading to stunted growth in natural vegetation. This includes plants that are cultivated for food by humans as well as those that constitute a habitat for animals before they're hunted down or eaten themselves. Acidic water moving through pipes also leaches lead and copper into drinking water sources at home. This is especially bad news if you don't have your own filter installed. The acidity in the rain has been proven to add damage when it comes down to your crops. It can cause blemishes and ruin delicate foods such as tomatoes, while also ruining root vegetables like potatoes. The harm depends largely upon how strong of an acidic presence there is within the rainfall and how often they are hit by it, but regardless of strength or frequency exposure, all crops grown under these conditions will be weaker with a lower nutritional value due to lack of minerals found only through plants that grow well in more ideal circumstances. Effects of acid rain on climate change. The new report from Oregon State University found that effects of acid rain has been detrimental to lakes and trout populations, but they also discovered a way for these species of fish to escape the warming impacts. In their study on recovering lake ecosystems with a darker water column where solar rays couldn't reach as deep, these types of environments provide refuge from warming impacts, which are especially detrimental to freshwater fish such as trout. When acid rain falls into a lake, it changes the water pH and makes that particular body of water more susceptible to climate impacts. Acid rain can have devastating effects on lakes by lowering their pH levels and making them vulnerable to contamination from other sources such as pollutants that lead to global warming and climate change. Effects of acid rain on global warming. A new study suggests that acid rain could be a natural way to combat global warming. Researchers have found evidence suggesting the wetland areas are producing fewer methane emissions after experiencing an increase in acidic precipitation, which is reducing the number of greenhouse gases released into our atmosphere and protecting us from global climate change. Effects of acid rain on non-living things. Effects of acid rain can be very damaging to more than just living things. It can damage buildings and statues, for example. Acid rain is even worse because it damages these non-replaceable works of art that are so important to our nation's heritage, the kind you want them around forever. Worst of all, acid rainfall may permanently destroy some irreplaceable structures like sculptures and monuments passed down through generations.